Welcome back, everybody. Rosemary the Hiveling here, and since you guys wanted another story time, I already had one I already wanted to mention, and also because I just wanted an excuse to make another video. Anyways, the topic of this video is for one teacher that I despise with the whole being of myself because he treated me like an animal and he didn't respect me at all. First of all, this guy would make jokes about really stupid things, just things that were not meant to be made fun of, and they were serious topics that he was trying to make light out of that I just could not let slide. I remember on this particular day where this one guy in my class was not able to use a pencil, so he asked if he could use a red pen, which I feel like shouldn't get to the point where he did, but it gets worse, trust me. Well, my teacher thought it was a good idea to speak what was on his mind, and he said, "Oh yeah, sure you can use that, but we wouldn't want to trigger anyone's PTSD." He said it just like that. We wouldn't want to trigger anybody's PTSD. Like, he was making fun of it. As someone who's been through extreme PTSD, I felt I had to stand up, and I did. I let him know how inappropriate that was, and how no one should be speaking like that to a real thing that people have to deal with. Not only that, but I did explain to the student as well, because he was genuinely curious. The next story's not as bad, but it's still really annoying. He always thought he knew better. He still does. It's really annoying. And he will not accept people's actual diagnoses. And he's like, you can do it the exact same as everyone else. While I was turning all my things in, I noticed that I had everything on the checklist, so I thought I was good. So I gave it to him in the folder, and he gave it back as a 0. I asked him why, and then he told me that it was because it wasn't in the order he wanted, which didn't necessarily make sense to me at the time. I mean, it kind of does, because you don't want to spend all that extra time, but I had every single thing that I needed, and I didn't see why I needed to get a 0, at least dock some points off, not give me a whole 0. In the end, since I wanted a good grade, I did put it in the order he wanted, and he's like, "See, that was very simple." Anyways, those are some of the more mild cases. I'm going to tell you about the worst thing that he did when he treated me like a dog. When I say he treated me like a dog, I don't mean like he barked at me or anything. I mean he full on was like sort of fetch, go get it sort of thing. That doesn't sound bad in the context I'm making it sound, but when I get into the details, you'll understand what I mean. So I had just gotten back from the bathroom and gotten into the room and put the hall pass on the door. So I sit back down and notice that he just finished handing folders to all of my classmates. Of course, naturally, I asked him what that was about and asked him if he could get me one. And he's like, "Oh, of course," so I thought it would be fine. But then he brings my folder, walks to the very edge of the desk where I'm facing, and throws it, not lightly, hard. He slams it on the floor right in front of me and says, "Go get it," and then walks away and sits back down. At this point, I'm mad that I didn't tell anybody about it except for my sister. And then way later, like recently, my mom. But the point is, I didn't tell anybody, which I should have, because a teacher shouldn't be just slamming things on the ground telling you to go get it when they could have very simply just lightly put it on your desk, because he was right there. Didn't have to treat me like that. He didn't treat anyone else like that. And of course, this was all done in front of the entire class. He humiliated me very often and didn't accept that I had ADHD, which was proven, and I had a special plan in special education, and he just didn't care. He treated me like every single student, except he treated me worse. He expected me to do everything the exact same as everyone else, even though I had and still have a learning disability. To be honest, I'm actually going to talk about one other teacher after this, but I'm just going to continue with after that class. That class period happened pretty recently, too. That was literally this school year, first semester. The moral of the story is, you tell somebody if something like this happens. Don't be like how I was, thinking that no one was going to trust me. Teachers are there to support you and help you learn, not to humiliate you. And now, every time I pass him by in the hallway, he tries to give me a friendly smile, like we're best buddies. But we're not. I never give him a smile. I'm always upset when I'm near him. I'm always rolling my eyes and going, ugh, because I don't like him. I don't know why people still adore this guy, or are friends with him, or say he's one of the better teachers, because he's not. He is one of the worst teachers. The fact of the matter is, I hate that teacher. Everyone's like, oh, that's so mean. No, I hate him. And I will never say I like him. Never have once liked him. This next story is about a different teacher in freshman year. I also don't like him because of this one thing he said to me. So in freshman year, I was in this one class that's only for freshmen. I was one of those kids who was constantly asking questions because I always wanted to make sure I knew exactly what I was doing so I wouldn't have to ask too many questions while they were in the middle of something. I think he got to the point where he didn't like that I was asking so many questions, and he said, "You're asking so many questions because you want me to do all the work for you. And that's because you're lazy." Yeah, he called me lazy in front of the class, and little me didn't know how to not cry in public because, of course, I don't know how to show emotions. I hide it until it spills over. So, of course, naturally, I was bawling my eyes out saying, I'm not lazy, because I hated that word. After he realized what he said, at least he was apologizing, unlike my other teacher, but I just have never wanted to talk to him since. But at least I don't have them anymore. That's all I have for today, so thank you for listening to me ramble.